Cinema Classics is brought to you by the Gateway Film Center, 1550 North High Street, Columbus, Ohio. Further details and showtimes online at gatewayfilmcenter.com.
The award-winning Cinema Classics is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to the shows online at wcbe.org and like us on Facebook.
I'm John DeSando.
I'm Johnny DiLoretto. This is Cinema Classics, and we are at the Gateway Film Center.
Yeah, and we seem to have a guest. I don't know how you can tell.
You can't miss him. Look at this. Like a professional basketball player sitting between us. We have Chris Hamill, the president and programmer of the Gateway Film Center. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me, and I want you to know I am slouching.
Thank you.
Hey, I just want to say, welcome to our puppet show. The Cinema Classics Puppet Show.
That reminds me how obvious. We're talking about Breathless today. And Chris is the perfect person to be here because why Breathless?
Yeah, talk about a boot du suit.
Well, first and foremost,
Take it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have to tell you a story. I've only seen Breathless once in my life, and it was when I was in high school. So that's probably more years ago than I wish to actually reveal. And I saw Breathless because there was a girl I really liked, and she said, "You haven't seen Breathless. You need to watch Breathless." So she got out this, videotape. She put the tape in the VCR, and I watched Breathless, and I stopped paying attention. At first, I was really enamored with the girl, and like waiting for the right moment to, make my move. And then as the film went on, I became less enamored with her and a lot more interested in the film, and I had never really seen anything like it. So, Breathless is probably the most important of the French New Wave films, would you say?
Without question. 1960, it changed everything, I think. Some would like to say it's the Citizen Kane.
Yeah, it was incredibly romantic, I thought.
Yeah.
And I'd never really seen a film that used music and the way it's edited and cut the way Breathless did, and like I said, it just grabbed my attention. I couldn't stop watching.
Jump cuts all over the place.
It's a movie in love with movies, and so when you're talking about being influential, arguably we wouldn't have contemporary cinema, any of it, without Breathless. There would be no Tarantino without Breathless. Obviously, you mentioned it was Jean-Luc Godard, and he was part of that group with Truffaut.
Truffaut wrote this.
Right, and those guys were in love with classic Hollywood films of the 30s and 40s and the 50s. And so this movie is a love letter to those movies, and it's very referential, it's self-referential, it's the beginning of postmodern cinematic technique, and so because we're so in love with movies, I mean, it is a romantic movie, but it's a love song to movies. Right?
John Paul Belmondo's character, he thinks he's bogey. Yeah, their references there. Now remember, though, they're dissing French cinema, which had been pretty staid and conservative at that point. So they're rebellious, at the same time embracing us. So,
So when you ask why Breathless,
right, I know. Do we? Right?
I mean, the show's called Cinema Classics. Right? I mean, it's sort of like if you haven't seen Breathless, you haven't. And I will admit, I have never seen Breathless in a movie theater.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about the brunch Breathless combo.
Well, it's a great story for people who think that we're promoting snobby cinema here. This guy's a car thief.
Right.
He accidentally shoots somebody.
Right.
And all of this stuff is very cavalier. The girl decides she'll hang out with him. It's never clear why anybody does anything, even more than why he shot that person. And then they go and they're racing away from the authorities. And it's a Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
You begin to see it all, but it's all so relaxed.
And it's so contemporary. It's right now. We showed the trailer for this at the last Cinema Classics brunch for Goldfinger. And it's been years since I've seen Breathless or any bit of it. But when we watched the trailer, I mean, the kind of casual sort of, devil-may-care attitude and the flippant use of the camera and editing techniques, it could be like a mumblecore movie.
Except you actually can't understand it.
Sure. Yeah, the Breathless made on your iPhone.
Yeah, right.
Type of film.
But it's true though. Even the sound is somewhat new, because they're not filtering it. It's really pretty natural sound. Just the same way with their cutting. It's all so new. Not that it hadn't been done before. It's just that all of that together here looks like a relaxed cinema for young people who are, anti-establishment, and plus it's a romantic story.
Yeah, it really is a romance with cinephiles.
Yeah, right.
He's in love with movies. So.
But now, when are people going to be able to see this?
That is April 6th, Sunday, April 6th. We're going to have our brunch in the Torpedo Room. That's at noon. The film is at 2 p.m. You can get one ticket to participate in both the brunch and see the film, or you can just see the film, whatever you want. Or you can just have brunch and not see the film. Or you can do neither. I would encourage you to do both.
You know, there are some people who will do neither. We've noticed that.
Very few, very few.
I do have a question. What happened to the girl?
Oh, well, I went home that night and told my mom and dad all about this great movie I watched, this great French film. So.
But isn't it funny how women, just like this story, women get us into trouble or good stuff. In this case, she throws a film on there you never saw before,
Right.
and all of a sudden, blink, what is this? This is the French New Wave. And you already have something for seduction again for the next
Well, of course,
next
I
round.
kept the video. No, I remember she was a senior and I was a sophomore, so I thought, wow,
Oh,
what
wow.
these upperclassmen watch, wow, it's just amazing.
How did you not just fall in love with this girl?
Well,
like immediately. A girl that watches Breathless?
I was fully in love for at least an hour.
Yeah.
So-
Just because you were tall.
Right. I was
There's no way a sophomore can go out with a senior.
Right.
Unless he's
Tall. That's what it was. So.
Tall, and obviously he was shaving at age 6.
Right.
So how do we have, what do we have coming up after Breathless that could possibly compete with it?
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, what's,
I know the answer
yeah.
to this.
Well,
You want to take it?
I don't care. You can. I mean, in May, of course, we're showing Annie Hall,
All right.
and in addition to being probably the greatest comedy, or certainly the greatest romantic comedy of all time. Right?
Or the best Woody Allen.
Yeah, it's the best. It's certainly among, if not the best, Woody Allen films. And Johnny, one of your favorite films of all time.
Absolutely. I'm incredibly excited. I'm incredibly excited about this whole series now. We kicked off with Goldfinger, which is also one of my favorite films. Breathless, clearly an influential film, a film I studied at OSU. And now Annie Hall in May. So this is a great program. The Torpedo Room is